Hi, I'm Scarlett. 3 months before my wedding day, I was sitting across from my fiancé Kyle at our favorite cafe, finalizing details for our reception at Lakeside Gardens. We'd been saving for 2 years to afford the venue. I can't believe we're only 12 weeks away, I said, scrolling through my checklist. The venue deposit cleared last week, so that's officially locked in. Kyle reached across the table, squeezing my hand. Your parents still helping with the catering? That's the plan. Mom keeps saying how excited she is about the whole thing. Though she did mention they might need to adjust their contribution since Amber's graduation is the same month. Speaking of your sister, Kyle said carefully, did she ever RSVP? I sighed. Not yet. But you know Amber, everything's last minute with her. My phone buzzed. Mia, my best friend. Hey Mia, what's up? I'm with Kyle going over wedding stuff. Scar? Where are you right now? Her voice sounded strange. Blue Bottle Coffee, why? I'm coming to you. Don't move. There's something you need to know. 20 minutes later, Mia slid into our booth, her face tight with anger. What's going on? I asked. I just ran into Amber at the mall. She was buying decorations for her graduation party at Lakeside Gardens. My stomach dropped. That's impossible. We booked it for our wedding. She was showing her friends pictures of the venue on her phone. Said your parents surprised her with it last week. Kyle's expression darkened. There must be a mistake. I asked her directly, Mia continued. She said, and I quote, Mom and Dad decided my graduation deserved something special, so they moved Scarlett's wedding reception to the community center. They wouldn't. My voice trailed off. I pulled out my phone and called the venue. Hi, this is Scarlett Jensen. I'm calling about my wedding reception scheduled for June 18th. The receptionist paused. I'm sorry, Miss Jensen, but that reservation was canceled last Tuesday. By who? Diane Jensen. She transferred the deposit to a graduation event on the same date. My hands shook as I ended the call. They canceled our venue without telling me. Call them, Kyle said firmly. My mother answered on the third ring. Scarlett, honey, how's wedding planning? Why did you cancel our venue, Mom? A pause. Oh, you heard about that? Yes, from Mia, who heard it from Amber. Were you planning to tell me? Don't be dramatic, sweetheart. We're handling it. The community center is perfectly nice. You had no right to cancel our venue. We paid the deposit. Technically, we helped with that deposit, she countered. And Amber's graduation is a once-in-a-lifetime achievement. She's valedictorian, Scarlett. This is her moment. And my wedding isn't important? Of course it is. But you've always been so practical. Amber needs this more than you do. I'm coming over, I said. We need to talk about this in person. Not tonight, dear. We're taking Amber shopping for her speech outfit. Let's talk tomorrow. She hung up before I could respond. I can't believe this, I whispered, tears forming. Mia's eyes narrowed. This isn't the first time they've put Amber first, but this crosses every line. What are you going to do? Kyle asked. I took a deep breath, anger replacing shock. I'm going to get our venue back. The next morning, I drove to my parents' house, Kyle beside me for moral support. We found my father alone, reading his newspaper in the kitchen. Morning, Scarlett. Kyle. Coffee? Dad offered, barely looking up. No thanks, I said, sitting across from him. We need to talk about the venue. He shifted uncomfortably. Your mother handles those details. Dad, you canceled my wedding venue without even telling me. Did you think I wouldn't find out? He folded his newspaper, sighing. It wasn't my idea, Scarlett. Your mother felt, I don't care whose idea it was. You both did this. Why? Amber's worked so hard. Valedictorian, full scholarship. And that means she deserves my wedding venue? Dad's expression hardened slightly. You know how your sister gets when she doesn't feel special. Remember your college graduation? I remembered. Amber had thrown such a tantrum about the attention I was receiving that my parents cut my celebration dinner short. That doesn't justify this, Kyle interjected. You realize this affects dozens of people who've already made arrangements, right? Dad had the decency to look embarrassed. The community center is only 15 minutes away from the original venue. That's not the point! I slammed my hand on the table. You can't just... The front door opened and my mother walked in with Amber. Scarlett, what a nice surprise, Mom said, setting down shopping bags. Amber smirked. Come to congratulate me? Why would I congratulate you for stealing my wedding venue? I asked. Don't be so selfish, Amber replied. It's my graduation. I only graduate as valedictorian once. And I only get married once. Mom stepped between us. Girls, please. Scarlett, we've already discussed this. No, you dismissed me over the phone. That's not a discussion. The decision is made, Mom said firmly. The deposit has been transferred. Without my permission, I countered. I co-signed that contract. Mom waved dismissively. We covered most of the deposit. Actually, Kyle said, pulling out his phone, we have the receipt right here. Scarlett and I paid 80% of that deposit. Mom's expression faltered. Well, still. I called the venue this morning, I interrupted. Talked to the manager, Deborah. She was very interested to hear that the change was made without my consent, considering I'm the primary name on the contract. You're making this into a bigger deal than it needs to be, Amber whined. Am I? Because I also talked to 3 of my bridesmaids who already booked non-refundable flights to be here that weekend. They can still come to the community center, Mom insisted. I turned to Kyle. Show them. Kyle pulled up photos on his phone. This is the perfectly nice community center. The roof leaks, the air conditioning is broken, and it smells like old gym socks. I'm not giving up my venue, I stated. It's not yours anymore, Amber shot back. Actually, it still is, came a new voice. Mia stood in the doorway, holding a folder. I've been talking to a lawyer friend. Scarlett, show them the contract. I pulled out my copy of the venue agreement. See this clause? The venue can only be modified or canceled with the signature of all parties on the original contract. Mom, you only signed as a guarantor. That can't be right, Mom stammered, grabbing the paper. It is, Mia said. And what you've done constitutes contract interference. The venue could be liable too, which is why the manager was very interested in our call this morning. Dad paled. What are you saying? I'm saying, I replied, you have until the end of the day to call the venue and transfer everything back to my wedding, or we take legal action against you and them. You wouldn't sue your own parents, Mom said incredulously. Try me. That evening, my parents asked to meet at their house. Kyle, Mia, and I arrived together, a united front. To my surprise, the venue manager, Deborah, was there too. Let's get right to it, Mom said tensely. Deborah has explained the situation with the contract. Deborah nodded. As I was telling your parents, Miss Jensen, what happened was highly irregular. Our policy requires all signees to approve changes. So what now? I asked. Your mother has proposed a compromise, Deborah said. Mom folded her hands. We can move Amber's party to Sunday instead of Saturday. You keep your wedding date. That's not a compromise, I said. That's fixing what you broke. Scarlett, Dad warned. Don't push it. Push what? My own wedding that you tried to steal for Amber? Again? I don't understand why you're being so difficult, Amber complained. It's just a stupid party. If it's just a stupid party, why did you need my venue? I shot back. Because I deserve something special, Amber shouted. The room fell silent. And I don't? I asked quietly. You've always been the responsible one, Mom said. Amber needs more support, more everything, I finished. My whole life you've given her more. My graduation money went to her car. My college fund was borrowed for her summer programs. I worked 2 jobs through college while she got a free ride. That's different, Dad protested. How? How is it different? Nobody answered. Here's what's going to happen, I said, turning to Deborah. My wedding stays as originally planned. Whatever deposit they paid for Amber's party gets returned to them, not transferred to another date. That's not fair, Amber cried. Actually, Deborah interjected, there are cancellation penalties in the contract. If we rebook, we can only refund 50%. That's thousands of dollars, Mom gasped. Actions have consequences, Mia murmured. You can't do this. Mom turned to me, her voice rising. We're your parents. Parents don't sabotage their daughter's wedding, Kyle replied. Stay out of this, Dad snapped, standing suddenly. This is family business. He is family, I said. More than you're acting like right now. Dad pointed at the door. You need to leave. Now. Gladly, I replied, standing. Deborah, please ensure everything is restored to the original arrangement. Of course, Miss Jensen. As we headed for the door, Mom grabbed my arm. If you do this, don't expect us at your wedding. I looked her in the eye. Based on your actions, I'm not sure I want you there anyway. You ungrateful little... Mom raised her hand. Kyle stepped between us. Don't! Get out! Dad shouted, his face red. All of you! Mr. Jensen, Deborah said. Please calm down or I'll be forced to... You too, he yelled, pushing her toward the door. Dad! I exclaimed in shock. Deborah stumbled backward. Mr. Jensen, you just put hands on me. I'm calling the police. Over a little push? Don't be ridiculous, Mom scoffed. Deborah already had her phone out. Assault is assault, Mrs. Jensen. This is your fault, Amber hissed at me. You always ruin everything. No, I said firmly. This time I'm fixing something you tried to ruin. 2 weeks later, I sat in the courthouse waiting room with Kyle and Mia. My parents and Deborah emerged from the hearing room, my parents looking shaken. How'd it go? I asked Deborah. Restraining order granted, she confirmed. They can't come within 100 feet of the venue or contact our staff. Mom approached me, her expression pleading. Scarlett, this has gone too far. Your father has community service and anger management classes now. Maybe he needs them, I replied. We're your parents, she insisted. Family forgives. Family doesn't do what you did. Can we please just talk about this? Dad asked. In private? I looked at Kyle, who nodded supportively. 5 minutes, I agreed. We moved to a quiet corner of the hallway. We made a mistake, Dad admitted. We should have talked to you first. A mistake is forgetting to mail a card, I said. What you did was deliberate. We've always given Amber special treatment, Mom said softly. Maybe we were wrong. Maybe? I raised an eyebrow. Definitely wrong, Dad corrected. But we're still your parents. We want to be at your wedding. I crossed my arms. The wedding you tried to relocate to a moldy community center? We'll pay for the entire thing, Mom offered. Whatever you want. I don't want your money. I want you to understand what you did. We do now, Dad insisted. The venue is yours. We're handling Amber's expectations better. Please, Scarlett, let us be there. I studied their faces. Where is Amber now? At home, Mom said. She's adjusting to the change of plans. Has she apologized? They exchanged glances. She's young, Mom began. She's 22, I countered. And I notice you haven't actually apologized either. Dad sighed. We're sorry, Scarlett. Truly. I took a deep breath. Here's what's going to happen. My wedding will proceed as originally planned. You're welcome to attend, as guests, not as hosts. You'll sit where you're told and speak when spoken to. That's a bit extreme, Dad protested. So was canceling my venue behind my back and then assaulting the manager when confronted. What about Amber? Mom asked. Her invitation depends on her ability to sincerely apologize and behave appropriately. And after the wedding? Dad asked cautiously. That depends on you. I'm not cutting you off, but our relationship will have boundaries now. Later that evening, I met Mia for coffee. How are you feeling about everything? She asked. Relieved, sad, vindicated, all of it. Any regrets? I shook my head. For the first time, they're facing consequences for how they treat me versus Amber. It needed to happen. You think they'll stick to your terms? If they want a relationship with me going forward, they will, I said firmly. I've spent my whole life being the understanding one, the one who compromises. Not anymore. I'm proud of you, Mia said, raising her cup. To standing your ground. I clinked my cup against hers. To consequences. And to your beautiful wedding at the venue you deserve. I smiled. Exactly where it was always meant to be. Ever had family put someone else's celebration before yours? What would you have done in my shoes?